Okay, we are back after a long time. I had exams and other things, so was also feeling very lazy and procrastinating a lot. So we are gonna continue the reading now. Okay, we are back. So yeah. So Article 152, the states chapter 1 general. Article 152 definition. In this part, unless the context otherwise requires, the expression taste does not include the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Chapter 2, the executive. Article 153, governors of state. There shall be a governor for each state, provided that nothing in this article shall prevent the appointment of the same person as governor for two or more states. Can be there governor of all the 28 Indian states? I mean, it can have 28 or more. Oh, sorry, two or more states governor as a one person, single person. Okay. Article 154. Executive power of state. The executive power of state shall be vested in the governor and shall be exercised by him either directly or through officers subordinate to him in accordance with this constitution. Subclause 2, I guess. Nothing in this article shall subclause B deemed to transfer to the governor any functions conferred by any existing law on any other authority, or B. Prevent Parliament or the legislature of the state from conferring by law function on any authority subordinate to the government. Okay. So, Article 155. Appointment of governor. The governor of state shall be appointed by the president by warrant under his head and seal. Okay. Sorry, hand and seal, not head. Article 156. Term of office of governor. The governor shall hold office during the pleasure of the president. 2. The governor may, by writing under his hand address to the president, resign his office. 3. Subject to the foregoing provision of this article, a governor shall hold office for a term of 5 years from the date on which he enters upon his office, provided that a governor shall, notwithstanding the expiration of his term, continue to hold office until his successor enters upon his office. So he can stay for more than 5 years, but it is generally, 5 years is more than enough, then you should not be governor now, and somebody else should be, I guess. Article 157 qualification for appointed as governor. No person shall be eligible for appointment as governor unless he is a citizen of India and has completed the age of 35 years. Okay, like I don't understand, there is a age limit on the lower side of things, like you can't be a 20-year-old governor on. Okay, understandable in some way, but you can't also be, 80-year-old governor. You can't be shitting on your fucking pants and be, what is called that? Old. Old person doesn't have a good mind, man. His body is dying, his mind is dying. Like why we don't have upper age limit also? We have lower age limit, but not upper age limit. Article 158. Condition Condition of governor's office. The governor shall not be a member of either House of Parliament or House of Legislature of any state specified in the first schedule, and if a member of either House of Parliament or of a House of Legislature of any state shall be appointed governor, he shall be deemed to have vacated his seat in the House on the date on which he enters upon his office as governor. I mean, this law is, like you can't be this or that, you can't hold seat in House of Parliament, House of Legislature, you can't be a CM of state, like current there is Nitish Kumar, I think he still hasn't left his CM post, although he has nominated himself for the House of Legislature, I guess. So I don't know. The governor shall not hold any other office of profit. Okay, so private company or even government companies. The government shall be entitled without payment of rent to use of his official residence and shall be also entitled. The governor shall be entitled without payment of rent of the use of his official residence and shall be also entitled to such emoluments, allowances, privileges as may determined by Parliament by law, and until provision in that behalf is so made, such emoluments, allowances, and privileges are specified in second schedule. Okay, so the government also has. I mean, he's a governor, man. He is at least gonna have more than things like more than highest level privileges, I guess. Where the same person is appointed as a governor of two or more states, the emoluments allowance payable to the governor shall be allocated among the states in such proportion as the president may by order determine. Okay, like bye. Matlab, this is very boring for man. Like I am just a regular guy who lives in Indian state. Like this is very boring, man. I don't wanna care about how the governor function, like how what is his salary. I don't care, man. Like the emoluments and allowance of governor shall. अरे भैया. Okay. The emoluments and allowance of the governor shall not be diminished during its term of office. बेसिकली एक बार तुम किसी गवर्नर को काफी अच्छे घर में रखोगे, या if the governor has a salary of 2 lakhs, maybe his salary can't be diminished or lessened to 1.5 lakh, I guess 1.5 lakhs or something like that. Article 159, oath or affirmation by the governor. Every governor and every person discharging the function of governor shall, before entering upon his office, make and subscribe in the presence of Chief Justice of the High Court, exercising jurisdiction in relation to the state, or in his absence, the senior most judge of that court available, on oath or affirmation in the from that is to say, I, AB, do swear in the name of God that I will faithfully execute the solely upper office of governor or discharge the function of governor of name of the state and will do the best of my ability to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the law, and that I will devote myself to the service and well-being of the people. Name of the state. People of dash dash state. Every person discharging the function of governor. Discharging means leaving na or is this oath also taken when you are leaving? Like you are taking oaths when you are entering can make sense, but you are taking oaths when you are leaving, like discharging. Oh, I am discharging. Oh, this employee discharged. Or you are discharged from the hospital. Like that means you are leaving the hospital, no? Like okay, man. Like the governor take this oath. I we do swear in the name of God. I mean, like the Constitution says the scientific temperament should be promoted. Like what? Where is the scientific temperament, man? Like I we do swear in the name of God that I will faithfully execute the solely upon office of governor. Like where is the scientific temperament of this thing? Article 160 discharge of the function of the governor in certain contingency. The president makes such a provision as think fit for the discharge of the function of the governor of a state in any contingency not provided for in this chapter. Okay, wait man, I have to look the meaning of what the word discharge means. Because now I am having difficulty here. How it is used. Yeah, okay. So discharge literally means leaving. So the governor has to take oath when he is also leaving. Article 161. Power of governor to grant pardons, etc., and to suspend, remit, or commute sentences in certain cases. The governor of state shall have the power to grant pardons, pardon me, sir, reprieves, respites, or remissions of punishment, or to suspend, remit, or commute the sentence of any person convicted of any offense against any law relating to a matter in which the executive power of the state extends. So basically, he has the mini power of the president in his state. Okay. Article 162 extent of executive power of state. Subject to the provisions of this constitution, the executive power of a state shall extend to the matters with respect to which the legislature of state has power to make laws, provided that in any matter with respect to which the legislature of state and parliament have power to make laws, the executive power of the state shall be subject to limited by the executive power expressly conferred by this constitution or by any law made by parliament upon the union or authorities thereof. Okay, so the states have the power to make laws described by the constitution, I guess. Okay, man, like nothing. Yeah, man, like I mean, the constitution is very boring, man. Like it is very boring, man. Like That is also one reason that I took a break, I guess. Like it is very boring book. Article 163, Council of Ministers to aid and advise governor. There shall be a council of ministers with the chief minister at the head to aid advise the governor in the exercise of his function, except insofar as he is by or under this constitution required to exercise his function or any of them is his discretion. Okay, so there will be a council of minister whose head will be chief minister. Uh, Clause 2, I guess. If any question arises whether in any matter is or is not a matter as respect which the governor is by or under this constitution required to act in his discretion, the decision of the governor in his discretion shall be final, and the validity of anything done by governor shall not be called in question on the ground that he ought or ought not to have acted in his discretion. Okay, so this is extremely abstract. I really can't know what the fuck this means. The question whether any and if so what advice was tendered by minister to the governor shall not be inquired into any court. Okay. What? So okay, this why the fuck not? Why the fuck it should not be questioned? Okay, man. This law really seems bad to me, man. I don't know why. This article really seems bad. Article 164. Other provision as to minister. The chief minister shall be appointed by the governor and the other minister shall be appointed by the governor on the advice of the chief minister and the minister shall hold office during the pleasure of the governor. Provided that in states of Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha there shall be a minister in charge of tribal welfare who may in addition to be in charge of the welfare of the scheduled caste and backward classes or any other work. I guess sub-article 1A, the total number of minister including chief minister in the council of minister in states shall not exceed 15% of the total number of members of the legislative assembly of the state, provided that the number of ministers including the chief minister in state shall not be less than 12. Okay, so the upper limit is 50%, the lower limit is you can't go less than 12, you can't go more than 15%. Okay, good man. Okay, provided further that where the total number of ministers, including the chief minister in the council of ministers in any state at the commencement of the constitution, 91st Amendment Act 2003 exceeding the said 15%. Or the number specified in the post proviso. As the case may be, then the total number of ministers in the state shall be brought in conformity with the provision of this clause within 6 months from such date as the president may by public notification appoint. Okay, so basically it will take 6 months if there is a violation of this rule. How many minister there can be? Like the government is extremely liberal when things are going 6 months. If you don't even give your what is called license, you can't even drive for one one uh, one day actually. If you don't have a license, driving license, you can't even drive for one day. 1B, a member of the legislative assembly of a state or either house of the legislature of a state having a legislative council belonging to any political party who is disqualified for being a member of that house under paragraph 2 of the 10 schedules shall also be disqualified to be appointed as a minister under clause 1 for a duration of the period commencing from the date of his disqualification till the date on which the term of his office as such member would expire, or where he contests any election to the legislative assembly of a state or either house of the legislature. I don't know. I am not reading that. It's just like some disqualified member can't be a minister, I guess. The Council of Ministers shall. Yeah, man, like uh, it was a break, but we are back. The Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the Legislative Assembly of the state. Okay. Before a minister enter upon it, the government shall administer him to those office and secrecy according to the form set out for the purpose in the third schedule. A minister who for any period of 6 consecutive months is not a member of legislature of the state shall at the expiration of that period cease to be a minister. The salaries and allowances of ministers shall be such as the legislature of the state from time to time by law determined and until the legislature of the state so determined shall be specified in the second schedule. The Advocate General for the state. Article 165. Advocate General for the state. The government of each state shall appoint a person who is qualified to be appointed a judge of High Court to be Advocate General for the state. Okay. It shall be the duty of Advocate General to give advice to the government of state upon legal matters and to perform such other duties of legal character as may from time to time be referred assigned to him by the governor, and to discharge the function conferred on him by or under this constitution or any other law for the time being in force. Okay, I think the word discharge in this constitution is, I think, some means something like, you are discharging the energy. You are, you are a governor and you are discharging your energy, to the service of the constitution, I guess. I think in that you are forced in, in service to the constitution, I guess. Yeah, okay. Okay, the Advocate General shall hold office during the pleasure of the governor and shall receive such remuneration as the governor may determine. Remuneration. Okay, I cannot pronounce that. Sorry, man. I'm not a Anglo guy. I cannot pronounce that. Conduct of government business. Article 166. Conduct of business of government of state. All executive action of the government of state shall be expressed or to be taken in the name of governor. Orders and their instruments made and executed in the name of the governor shall be authenticated in such manner as may be specified in rules to be made by the governor. And the validity of an order or instrument which is so authenticated shall not be called in question on the ground that it is not an order or instrument made or executed by the governor. 3. The governor shall make rules for the more convenient transaction of the business of the government of the state and for allocation among ministers of the state business insofar as it is not business with respect to which the governor is by or under this constitution required to act in discretion. Okay, so so the governor is nothing but a president for the states, I guess. I think that is pretty much what a governor is, I guess, in some ways. Article 167. Duties of Chief Minister as respects the furnishing of information to governor, etc. It shall be the duty of the Chief Minister of each state to communicate to the governor of the state all decision of the Council of Ministers relating to the administration of the affairs of the state and proposal for legislation. Okay. B. To furnish such information relating to the administration of the affairs of the state and proposals for legislation as the governor may call for, and if the governor so requires, to submit for the consideration of the Council of Ministers any matter on which a decision has taken by a minister, but which has not been considered by the council. Okay. Okay, man. Like, is this entire constitution this boring, man? Like, how many pages I have read so far? Okay, I have read 106 pages. and 26% of the book is complete. Okay, man. So I have to suffer for more than 3 times this thing what I have suffered. Article 168 Constitution for of legislature in state. For every state there shall be legislature which shall consist of governor and in the states of Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana and Uttar Pradesh, 2 houses. In other state, 1 house. Okay, so there will be 2 houses where there are 2 houses of the legislature of state. One shall be known as legislative council and other as legislative assembly. And where there is only 1 house, it shall be known as legislative assembly. Okay. So basically, states who have more population will have 2 houses, legislative assembly and legislative council, legislative council and legislative assembly. Article 169 Abolition or creation of legislative councils in states. Notwithstanding anything in Article 168, Parliament may by law provide for the abolition of legislative council of a state having such a council or for the creation of such a council in state having no such council if the legislature assembly of the state passes a resolution to that effect by a majority of the total membership of assembly and by majority of not less than 2/3 of the members of the assembly present and voting. Okay, so the parliament. Okay, the parliament can make legislative council or abolish the legislative council. Okay, okay, man. 2. Any law referred to in clause 1 shall contain such provisions for the amendment of this country constitution as may be necessary to give effect to the provisions of the law and may also contain such supplemental, incidental and consequential provisions as Parliament may deem necessary. No such law as appropriate shall be deemed to be amendment of this constitution for the purposes of Article 368. Okay. Oh man. Uh, Article 170 Composition of the Legislative Assembly subject to the provisions of Article 333 of the Legislative Assembly of each state shall consist of not more than 500 and not less than 60 members chosen by direct election from territorial constituencies in the state. Okay. For the purposes of clause 1, each state shall be divided into territorial constituency in such manner that the ratio between the population of each constituency and the number of seats allotted to it shall so far as practicable be the same throughout the state. Okay, man, like, okay, the BJP is making, I think, use of this. That, it is concentrating the Muslim vote on particular regions and removing them from other assemblies or constituencies. Yeah, the BJP is using this, and yeah, I mean, it is theoretically still following this law, but not really, man. It is not really following this law. In this law, the expression population means the population as ascended ascertained at the last preceding census of which the relevant figures have been published, provided that reference in this explanation to the last preceding census of which the relevant figures have been published shall until the relevant figures for the first census taken after the year 26 have been published be construed as the reference to the 2001 census. Upon the completion of each census, the total number of seats in the Legislative Assembly of each state and the division of each state into territorial constituencies shall be readjusted by such authority and in such manner as Parliament by law determine, provided that such readjustment shall not affect representation in the Legislative Assembly until the dissolution of then existing assembly. Okay. Provided further that such readjustment shall take an effect from such date as the President may by order specify until such readjustment takes effect. Any election of the to the Legislative Assembly may be held on the basis of the territorial constituencies exchanging before such readjustment. Provided also that until the relevant figures for the first census taken after the year have been published, it shall not be necessary to readjust. The total number of seats in the Legislative Assembly of each state as readjusted on the basis of 1971 census and the division of such state into territorial constituency as may be readjusted on the basis of the 2001 census under this law. Okay. Basically 1971 और 2001 के जो सेंसस है उनको आगे बढ़ के हम 2026 के सेंसस से कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी और ये सब बांटेंगे आई गेस टेरिटरी आल्सो. Article 171. Composition of legislative councils. The total number of members in the legislative counciling of state having such council shall not exceed one third of the total number of members in the legislative assembly of the state. Okay, so the number in the council only will be one third of state assembly, I guess. Legislative assembly. I will be back after drinking some water. I want to drink water. Oh man, I am back. The total number of members in the legislative council of the state having such a council shall not exceed one third of total members in the legislative assembly of that state, provided that the total number of members in legislative council of the state shall in no case be less than 40 until Parliament by law otherwise provided. The composition of the legislative council of the state shall be provided as in clause 3. Clause 3, I guess. Of the total number of members in the legislative council of state, as nearly as may be one third shall be elected by electors. consisting of members of municipalities and district boards and such other local authority in the state as parliament by law specify. Okay, as nearly as may be 1/12 shall be elected. 1/12 by electors considering persons residing in the state who have been for at least 3 years graduates of any university in the territory of India or have been for at least 3 years in position of qualification prescribed by or and under any law made by parliament as equivalent to that of a graduate of any such university. Okay, I mean 1/12. 1/12 is very less, man. Like, okay, it is nothing burger. As nearly as may be 1/12 shall be elected by electorates consisting of person who have been for least 3 years engaged in teaching in such educational institution within the state, not lower in standard than that of secondary school, as may be prescribed by or under any law made by parliament. As nearly as may be 1/3 shall be elected by the members of the legislative assembly of the state from amongst persons who are not members of the assembly. The remainder shall be nominated by the governor in accordance with provisions of clause 5. Uh, clause 4. The members are to be elected under subclause A, B, C of clause 3 shall be chosen in such territorial constituency as may be prescribed by or under any law made by parliament, and the election under the said subclause and under subclause D of the said clause shall be held in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. Okay. Okay. The members to be nominated by government under subclause E of clause 3 shall consist of persons having special knowledge or practical experience in respect of such matter as the following, namely literature, science, art, cooperative movement, and social service. Okay, so the governor can appoint people in this field, man. Like, see, go talk to the governor, man. Like, you can get a job. I mean, obviously, the governors suck nowadays. The governors suck big time. Duration of state legislatures. Every legislature assembly of every state, unless sooner dissolved, shall continue for 5 years from the date appointed for its first meeting and no longer, and the expiration of the said period of 5 years shall operate as dissolution of the assembly, provided that said period may, while a proclamation of emergency is in operation, be extended by Parliament by law for a period not exceeding 1 year at a time, and not extending in any case beyond a period of 6 months after the proclamation has ceased to operate. Okay, so in emergency, the state can, extend its the state legislature can extend itself in emergency. Okay, makes sense, man. Like, the legislative council of state shall not be subject to dissolution, but as nearly as possible 1/3 of the members thereof shall retire as soon as may be on the expiration of every second year in accordance with the provisions made in that via by parliament by law. Okay, the legislative council, huh? You can, I think, only be the member of it for 2 years, I guess. Uh, Article 173. Qualification for membership of the state legislature. A person shall not be qualified to be chosen to fill a seat in legislature of state unless clause A is a citizen of India and makes and subscribes before some person authorized in that behalf by election commission an oath or affirmation according to the form set out for the purpose in the third schedule. B subclause B is in the case of seat legislature assembly not less than 25 years of age and in the case of a seat in the legislative council not less than 30 years of age and possesses such other qualification as may be prescribed in that behalf by or under law made by parliament. Okay, man, this constitution is written by old dudes. Like young people like, oh, you can't be less than 25. Yeah, you can't also be more than 75. What about that, huh? This constitution is written by old people. Sorry, man. Like, I don't think any problem in 25 year as a age limit, but or age limit to enter. But there should be a upper age limit that can also force you to leave. Yeah, you are 75 years old now. Leave. Article 174, session of the state legislature, prorogation and dissolution. The governor shall from time to time summon the house or each house of the legislature of the state to meet at such time and place as he thinks fit, but 6 months shall not intervene between its last sitting in one session and the date appointed for his first sitting in the next session. The governor may from time to time prorogue the house or either house, dissolve the legislative assembly. Okay. Article 175, right of the governor to address and send message to house or houses. The governor may address legislative or in case of state having legislative council, either house of the legislature of the state or both houses assembled together may for that purpose require the attendance of members. The governor may send messages to the house or houses of the legislature of the state, whether with respect to a bill then pending in the legislature or otherwise, and a house to which any message is sent shall with all convenient dispatch consider any matter required by the message to be taken into consideration. Okay, man. Like, I don't care, man. I don't even want to explain this to myself. I want to change the constitution. I don't want to uphold it. I want to change how we live. So I'm by default gonna be extremely critical of the constitution. Why? Don't think I'm a constitution worshipper. I'm not. Provision shall be made by. Okay, I guess this is the Article 176, special address by the governor at the commencement of the first session after each general election to the Legislative Assembly and at the commencement of the first session of each year. The governor shall address the Legislative Assembly or in the case of a state having a legislative council, both houses assembled together and inform that legislature of the causes of its own. Okay. Clause 2. Provision shall be made by the rules regulating the procedure of the house or either house for the allotment of time for discussion of the matters referred to in such address. Okay, Article 177, rights of minister and advocate general as respect to the houses. Every minister and the advocate general for a state shall have the right to speak in and otherwise to take part in the proceedings, the legislative assembly of the state, or in the case of state having legislative council, both houses, and to speak in and otherwise to take part in the proceeding of any committee of the legislature of which he may be named a member, but shall not by virtue of this article be entitled to vote. Okay. Article 178. The Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Legislative Assembly. Every legislative assembly of a state shall, as soon as may be, choose two members of assembly, two respectively Speaker and Deputy Speaker thereof, and so often as the office of Speaker or Deputy Speaker became vacant, the assembly shall choose another member to be Speaker or Deputy Speaker, as the case may be. Article 179. Vacation, the resignation of and removal from the offices Speaker and Deputy Speaker. I mean, this book is really boring, man. Like, people, Kunal Kamra, Rahul Gandhi. This is the fucking book, man. You are holding and roaming over. Vacation and resignation and removal from the offices of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Oh, what an important book. A member holding office as Speaker or Deputy Speaker of an assembly. Okay. Shall vacate his office if he ceases to be member of the assembly. May at any time by writing under his hand address, if such member is the speaker, to the deputy speaker, and if such member is deputy speaker to the speaker, resign his office, and C may be removed from his office by resolution of the assembly passed by majority of all the then members of assembly, provided that no resolution for the purpose of clause C shall be moved unless at 14 days 14 days notice has been given of the intention to move the resolution. Provided further that whenever the assembly is dissolved, the speaker shall not vacate his office until immediately before the first meeting of the assembly after dissolution. Okay, man. Article 180. Power of the. I mean, I have so far led till Article 180, which means 28% of the book. And there still isn't, mention of deputy CM. There are deputy CM in almost every state in India. But there is no such position of deputy CM in this book. And we are literally reading of matter of states, the ministers and governor and advocate general of the state. And we still didn't have any position named as deputy CM or deputy chief minister. So basically Indian politicians just made the shit up, which is not in constitution. And it basically they hacked the book actually. They found a loophole and yeah, they hack it, man. Like they found a glitch, I guess. Article 180. Power of the deputy speaker or the person to perform the duties of the office of or act as a speaker while the officer of speaker is vacant. Voice office of speaker is vacant. The duties of the office shall be performed by deputy speaker or in if the office of deputy speaker is also vacant by such member of the assembly as the governor may appoint for purpose. Clause 2, Article 180. During the absence of the speaker from any sitting of the assembly, the deputy speaker, or if he is also such person as may be determined by the rules of procedure of the assembly, or if no such person is present, such other person as may be determined the assembly shall act as a speaker. Okay, man. I mean, reading out loud is really hard, man. Like my mouth is getting very dry. Wah. Okay, I'm only gonna read it for a few more minutes. Yeah, I can't read it for more than this now. The speaker or the deputy speaker not to preside while a resolution for his removal from office is under consideration. Article 181. At any sitting of the Legislative Assembly, while any resolution for the removal of the Speaker from his office is under consideration, the Speaker or while any resolution for the removal of Deputy Speaker from his office is under consideration, the Deputy Speaker shall not, though he is present, preside, and the provision of clause 2 of Article 180 shall apply in relation to every such sitting as they apply in relation to sitting from which the Speaker or as the case may be the day is absent. Okay. Okay. So basically, he really can't sit there. The speaker shall have the right to speak and otherwise take part in the proceedings of legislative assembly while any resolution for his removal from office is under consideration in the assembly and shall notwithstanding anything article 189 be entitled to vote only in the first instance on such resolution or on any other matter during such proceeding but not in the case of an equality of votes. Yeah, man, like this is really unimportant, boring. This article really is this article is extremely idealistic. Most deputy speakers are nothing but slaves. Like they can really just, hey man, shut the fuck up, get lost, leave the office. They will just leave it. There is no need for majority and all this thing. So yeah, man, like this article is pretty much useless. 182 article. The chairman and deputy chairman of the legislative council. The legislative council of every state having such council shall as soon as may be choose two members of the council to be respectively chairman and deputy chairman thereof. And so often as the office of chairman or deputy chairman becomes vacant, the council shall choose another member to be chairman or deputy chairman as case may be. Ah man, the constitution is extremely boring, man. Like I'm really getting bored. I mean, I thought, it will be a Judy's put downs type of situation, but there is nothing in such way. I'm getting very bored, man. And even my mouth is starting to pain because I didn't do the readings for many days, and I really can't talk this for long. I am not even a English speaker in that sense. I don't speak English as my mother tongue, and this is hard on my mouth, man. Okay, I will read this. Vacation. We will read the article 183. Honeymoon, vacation, and resignation, and removal from the office of chairman and deputy chairman. A member holding office as chairman or deputy chairman of the legislative council. A shall vacate his office if he ceases to be member of the council. B may at any time by writing under his hand address, if such member is the chairman, to the deputy chairman, and if such member is the deputy chairman to the chairman, resign his office. And C may be removed from his office by the resolution of the council and passed by a majority of all then members of council, provided that no resolution for the purpose of clause C shall be moved unless at least 14 days notice has been given to the intention to move the resolution. Ah, okay, we will read. No, we will stop it here, man. Yeah, I will be streaming also later or tomorrow or later even. We will be reacting to some videos, I guess. Yeah, then I will also be having a face cam or webcam going on. Now I want to take rest. My mouth is paining in pain. So bye bye.